Hi everyone, we have a small project for you to complete over the spring break for your upcoming project, brand buying and promotion. In the last unit, the one that you've just completed, you all acted as own brand buyers. This is the type of buying known as independent contracting. In the forthcoming unit, you will all be working as brand buyers. These are the types of buyers who select portfolio of brands for department stores such as Selfridges, Harrods and Urban Outfitters, as well as online department stores such as Farfetch and Net-a-Porter. Easter Project 1 is a department store mini shop report. So we want you to choose 3 online department stores. Obviously, you can't go to any physical department stores at the moment, so they need to be online. And you'll do a mini shop report on each one of these. So using InDesign, you can just use one page for each of the chosen department stores, so a total of 3 pages for the whole of Easter Project 1. And then you need to cover the following points for each of those online department stores. Give a little brief overview of the store's history and what it offers. Just a few bullet points will be absolutely fine. A history of the store, perhaps when it was established, especially as their online department stores, some of them are quite new. Maybe it has a physical store too, maybe it doesn't. Describe the feel of the online store using images like a little mood board and some buzzwords. 3 to 5 images is fine. Give an overview of some of the brands stocked. Obviously, lots of these online department stores have hundreds and often sometimes thousands of brands. So maybe just sort of name 10 to 15 of those brands, giving a cross selection sort of from entry to exit price, some luxury and so on and so forth. Look at the other platforms that the online department store operates on. So obviously they've got a website. Do they also operate on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook? And give kind of an overview so we can sort of see how seamless the transition between those sites and platforms are. Also try and give a little bit of an overview of what the consumer you think might shop there. So maybe just an image and a few bullet points too. And then again, just finally give some future visions of the store. If you look at online retailers, especially ones like Farfetch, their visions for the future are really kind of extreme. So it's nice if you can give a few bullet points and cover that at the same time here. Again, 1 page is fine for each. If you want to do a little bit more, that's absolutely fine. But very much keep it image-based, bullet points and buzzwords wherever you want. Easter Project 2 is some personal branding preparation. So in preparation for your Year 2 work placements, we'll also be working on personal branding next term. You'll be developing your personal brand and creating a logo that you will translate into a creative CV. You will continue to develop this through into your second year and into your third year too, so it's really, really important work. So over the spring break, we would like you to research and prepare the following ready to develop next term. Firstly, research into personal branding inspiration that you might want to inspire your own logo design, then create a mood board or a Pinterest board with this collected imagery. So logos in general, so they don't have to just be other people's personal branding logos, they could be brand logos or any kind of designs along kind of logo design that you find inspirational. Then we want you to update or even create a CV if you haven't got one already. You only need to do this in Word. We don't expect you to do any creative CV at the moment. So just a Word document with as much information on your education and experience to date. And then finally, research into creative CVs. So again, you'll start to lay out your CV in a bit more of an interesting format in InDesign next term as well. So again, you can create a Pinterest board or just save a few creative CVs that you think might inspire your own kind of layout at the same time. So again, you only need to actually create your CV in Word, but you need to get inspiration for logos and creative CV design. There is a huge amount just by Googling them and loads on Pinterest too, so it should be quite an easy and quick project to do. Third and finally, you don't need to really hand in anything this, but we want you to start thinking and researching ahead of next term. So over the spring break, start researching into news articles and market reports on department stores. And then think about the following. So what online department stores are there out there? And again, you can think globally. It doesn't have to be restricted to the UK or wherever you're working at the moment. Look into small and larger chain and independent department stores at the same time. Look in general at what department stores are performing well. Again, you can look at sort of bricks and mortar or physical stores here at the same time because it might be nice to compare them with online. Who are performing well, not so well, and why do you think this might be? The other thing you can look at is who's shopping in department stores, how department stores are evolving, and especially the online ones that are really new and innovative in the way that they're working, especially with the new apps they're looking at including things like AI and looking at that kind of thing and how they're kind of developing for the future or what their plans are for the future. And then also what's happening globally with department stores. Some places department stores aren't doing so well, but some places they're really, really booming. So make sure your research is global. Again, it shouldn't be restricted to the UK store news. And also think about emerging markets too. So you can just start to save information ready to use when you get back. So I appreciate that none of you have probably got access to things like Mintel, but you should be able to use Business of Fashion still perhaps. But you can look at the news in general. So Google Online, look at things like BBC News, look at kind of podcasts, anything that you can find research for will really put you in good stead for when we start back next term. So just do a good amount of research and save anything that's interesting. So just a few things to consider. While the worldwide coronavirus is without a doubt going to have a huge impact on global retail and should of course be included and reflected upon within your research, make sure it doesn't dominate it. So look at other factors at the same time, both positive and negative, surrounding the department store market. Also look at things in the long term. So don't just look at things that are going to happen in the next sort of 12 to 18 months. Look at things like in research into the next 5 to 10 years, not just the immediate future, because this will help your research too and sort of help you steer away from everything that's surrounding the coronavirus at the moment too. So what retailers do you think will weather the storm that we're currently in at the moment? And what new opportunities might arise, especially with online retailing over the coming months too. So again, thinking long term will really benefit this research. And then also just something to think about. You don't need to do anything for this, but it's just worth considering. So how do you think the current crisis might impact brands, especially the brands that maybe you were looking at last term? What do you think might happen with production after you've looked at that for the last term? Do you think retailers will buy smaller quantities? Do you think they'll be able to negotiate better prices? Do you think people will change to look at different places? And how do you think consumers might change their buying and spending habits? Do you think after a time where people aren't shopping so much, they might consider how they actually shop? Do you think they'll be more conscious of what they buy? And could this be better for the future? And then finally, how do you think you might take this into consideration as a future buyer at the same time? So again, you don't need to submit anything about this, but it's just worth having a think about at the same time. Again, any questions on any of this brief, it should be quite straightforward. Do feel free to send me a message over Owler. Best of luck.